peace, restore our gloria to live forever. Bring down the dark regime and know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order.
Welcome back once more, ladies and gentlemen. Already having some issues in Discord, so we'll hopefully not have that happen again. But I'm Dessa, being joined by Jordy here for Dangerous Game versus Snek. Jordy, you excited for the series tonight, man?
Oh yeah, I'm really excited. I've heard they are just gonna do the same as many other League of Legends players at the moment, just play an ARAM clash, and yeah, but no, we're gonna go on the Rift. But still, I'm really excited because, like, obviously, myself, I'm part of the Sanctuary community, so I have my brothers and Snackpack in this game, but on the other side, we have Dangerous Game, which we already played. Really nice guys with the goat lyrics on the sport. So I'm really looking forward to the series.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. Keep in mind both of these teams 4-4 as well at the moment heading into this. So if they can pick up some of these games, they might see themselves move up a couple of spots coming next week. But this week's also almost over already. So these are gonna be some big games to pick up. And like you said, we have some big names on the Rift today. As well, we've got, for example, like you said, Lurgs gonna be playing support for Dangerous Game. I play you listen as well in their jungle. So definitely a lot of sort of high tier players gonna be on both sides, I feel like.
Yeah, and as you've already pointed out, this series is really, really important. Both teams, 4-4. Um, this series will basically decide, like, if you want to be one of the top dogs, right? You'll have to win this series. Um, it's like we are like kind of advanced in the split right now, and we as a team, at some point you just like want to start winning the games and
Yeah.
establishing yourself as one of the top teams.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's gonna be big. And I think some of these matchups are gonna be really exciting as well. I think for me, it is mainly gonna be in that jungle. I feel like because it's gonna be I play listen versus Evo. And I feel like both of these players, I think when they show up, can really, really put in an effort. I play you listen, for example, I know him for his Ivern. Personally, I know last split, at least, he played quite a bit of that. So it could potentially be one of the champions we see today as well. Ivern is something that a couple of people in SLE play, but no jungler we see a whole lot. Whereas Evo prefers things like the Vi, the Viego, the Jarvan. So you could potentially see some aggressive picks as well coming out from the Sanctuary side.
Yeah, and as like as in many teams, the jungler is one of these like focal points. They make stuff happen. So yeah, I think the jungle matchup is the one of the most interesting parts about this series. As like both I play you listen and also like Evo are like the machine, the engine of the mid game or early to mid game from both of these teams. So yeah, I think both of these teams will be looking for the enemy jungle, or will have to be looking for the enemy jungle. Um, and like I don't know, one thing I found interesting is both of these teams do kind of like play these more or less like not that aggressive scaling comps. I mean we do have like Shay City with his Ornn in the top side. Cybertop from Snackpack also like plays a lot of utility type of champions on the top side. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna be looking out for these 5-on-5 late game team fights in this series.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I do have to correct myself a little bit. I'm looking at Twitch chat. Apparently, I Play You Listen isn't playing jungle for today. So that's my mistake, but it's gonna be exciting games nonetheless. And I feel like team fights are really sort of the way SLE, or the way I've seen a lot of teams like to play this split as well, as we should be able to head into draft here soon enough as well. But especially the game from yesterday, for example, where you yourself you played the Aatrox in the top lane, right? It was a lot of team fights, especially towards the later stages of that game. So I feel like no matter what I feel like teams try to do, it always seems to boil down to that 5v5, right?
I mean, like we're not. t- we were gonna be have to be honest right here. We're not the LEC, right? So many of these teams, they will make minor mistakes in the mid game or even like bigger mistakes, and some of these games will be going to these later stages. And I think especially in our like I don't know league, if you're a team who has a really good 5v5s, you still will win games even if the enemy is kind of like the better team on paper.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a lot easier, I feel like, to play team fights. I feel like the macro game, especially in a 5v5 setting, it can be really, really difficult to pull off, which is tends to be why we don't see a lot of split push champions, for example, in the top lane as well. Things like a Fiora, for example, can be very strong in the split push, but instead we see things like the Aatrox, things like the Ornn that are much stronger in the 5v5 because that's just the easier way to play the game. And it takes a lot for you to, I feel like, evolve as a team, as we are gonna see Karma Zeri being taken away from the side of Snek Pack Oriana and someone from the side of Dangerous Game. Not entirely sure who that is quite yet, but Vi is gonna be banned away as well.
I mean, I don't know if that's a missed ban or if that's just like if they got a punishment and did not were not able to ban the or like have a ban on the second rotation. But like we see some standard Karma ban on the red side, the obligatory Oriana ban against Sushi Killer. Like he's really good at this champion. The Vi ban also directed against Evo, also one of his main champions basically. As we also see the Milio ban, this is something we also did, or basically like this Karma Milio ban is something we also did in our series against Dangerous Game. Basically, these are the two most played champions for lyrics, like in solo queue at least. As we see the Talia locked in as a first pick.
It's a very early Talia coming out from Dangerous Game. Still yet to see whether it is towards the mid lane or the jungle. We have seen both actually during the split, so can go either way. More so tends to be towards the mid lane nowadays. You don't tend to throw it towards the jungle unless it's A, a really good matchup, or B, you have a specific strategy built around it as a team. We are gonna see the Kai'Sa on the other side. A lot of pairings for the Kai'Sa. You have things like the Nautilus, which is the most common pairing we see. Things like the Blitzcrank is a good one as well if you are against one of those Enchanter supports, which, like you mentioned, Lurks really does like to play.
And already the Gnar locked in. For those of you who don't know, Cybotop is like a really good Gnar player, which also is like basically his kind of playstyle. He is sitting in the top lane, he's chilling, he just like he isn't like one of these most aggressive top lane players who basically go flash ghost Darius and just run you down. But he really does have a solid Gnar. And also, Gnar kind of works well against the champion pool of Shay City. The one thing I'm kind of curious about right here is if Shay City is gonna just lock in Malphite. Because it's his like second most played champion. It has a decent matchup against the Gnar. Gonna have to look out for that. Also, by the way, bear in mind this Kai'Sa could also be a flex pick, as we have already seen her played in the mid lane.
True. True, that always escapes my mind when someone looks in Kai'Sa. I see it so much down towards the bot lane. I'm always just like, surely it has to go down there. AP Kai'Sa, it was a thing for a while in the mid lane, way, way back. But nowadays it tends to be more towards the bot lane. But you're absolutely right, it could still go either way. I think once they lock in a support on the side of Snack Pack, it's gonna tell us a lot about where this Kai'Sa is gonna go. Senna Wukong on the other side, and with the Nautilus locked in, something I mentioned earlier, a great pairing with the Kai'Sa. It sort of tells me that this Kai'Sa is gonna be tailored more so towards the bot lane than the mid lane.
Yeah, I also expect it to be the AD carry position. But on the other side, the Wukong is locked in. So Wukong is interesting for me because, like, for one, you have like Senna Wukong is kind of a combo. But I still think Wukong is gonna be like the counter pick against the Gnar on the top side. But still, I would love it if they would like just bust out the Wukong Senna bot side with like fasting Senna, Wukong CSing, and it's a really fun combo. It's a really interesting combo. But still, I do think this Wukong is gonna be played on the top side. Has a decent time against the Gnar. And with like the most recent buffs, I think Wukong is a really strong champion. If you're a really good Wukong player, it's really, really scary.
Yeah, I like the way you think, man. Already saucing it up in the first game, trying to throw Wukong into the bot lane. Instead, I would love to see that as well, but probably not gonna happen. Like you said, very well suited up against the Nard towards the top side. Or Hui gonna be taken away from the side of Snack Pack, so they're truly just trying to get rid of some of those mages towards the mid lane as well as some of the tanks towards the top lane. Double jungle ban here, coming out from Dangerous Game, the Nocturne in the Jarvan, both sort of, well, Nocturne less so, but Jarvan very proactive jungler in the early game, wants to do things, wants to get things going, and one of the champions I brought up as well alongside the Vi, for example, which was banned away in that first rotation already. So the jungle pool out of the side of Snack Pack really has been sort of, or some of those main picks have really been taken away.
Yeah, like this is if I look at these champions, this is basically Evo's champion pool, right? As the Volibear gets locked in, which seems to be going into the jungle. By the way, one interesting part is Snek banned the Ornn. They don't necessarily expect the Wukong to be topside. They have in mind that Wukong can still be flexed to like a bunch of other positions, as we have already seen a Wukong mid early on this SLE split by I believe Kraken from Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Which like won them the game basically against Devilian, if I'm right. But as the Tahm Kench, Senna seems to be the bot lane from Dangerous Game still. You could technically flex the Tahm Kench topside, but I don't think he's going to, as he's playing against Gnar. And Senna Tahm is just like a really stable combo.
It's always an option, but like you said, Senna Tahm Kench is generally, when those two are on the same team, they tend to be in the same lane together. So I'm assuming as well it should be them towards the bot side of the map. It's gonna get Bicho Goth that gets locked in, which means it's a Wukong jungle, I'm presuming here.
That's an interesting team. What is happening? I did not expect the Shogath here. The Shogath mid lane. Or what?
Surely it's Shogath top lane.
Wait, sure. Alright, sure. Wait, so it's, yeah, for sure. I'm stupid. The Wukong into the jungle, the Shogath top lane against the Gnar. Okay, that is interesting. That is really interesting.
This also tells us that it's Talia mid instead of a Talia jungle, and like I said, what is generally seeing towards the mid lane as well. But this is very unusual, I feel like, coming up from Dangerous Game and throwing in a little bit of spice for a game one, whereas on the side of Snack Pack, something much more sort of...
The Ezreal?
I was gonna say something much more common until they locked in, and then I was like, maybe not so much. Is that Ezreal mid?
I think it is. I know that Sushi Killer did play it, but I'm not even sure if it's just like two picks they basically swap around. But I feel like it has to be, right?
Yeah, it has to be on Ezreal mid, I think, for sure, but into the Talia as well, that is... I like this. I'm a big fan of this. Both teams in game one already throwing in some spice, throwing in something unconventional, and throwing something out of their own playbooks. This is great. I'm loving this.
Like, I feel like we have seen, like, or I myself did watch a lot of games from the SLE in the past 2 weeks. This is a draft I have not seen before. Like, what is happening in this game? That's really interesting.
I feel like this is a draft a lot of people haven't seen before, and it's... I feel like Cho'Gath as a champion is just something we don't really tend to see in SLE, a very simple champion to play as well, and it's gonna be up against the Gnar. And you as a top laner, you have much more insight into that matchup than I do. So how do you feel like, or how should that top lane go, at least?
So what I expect Chastity to do here is to go basically like the Comet, either Q or W max on the Cho'Gath. As like the Nard really, especially on the early levels, he really can struggle avoiding those Cho'Gath Qs. So wait, somebody in Twitch chat is telling me Cho'Gath is mid. So it's so it's Talia jungle, Cho'Gath mid, Wukong top lane.
It is a Cho'Gath mid. We've been spoiled here by Pepar. He's been
bamboozled in the champ select.
Yeah, dangerous game trying to bamboozle us, but Pep are showing the ways, leaking them. And it is Cho'Gath in the mid lane against the Ezreal.
Wait, dangerous game is cooking. I love that. I love this draft. This is so fun.
Oh boys, we've stepped into the kitchen.
So
are in-
wait.
We are in
Okay,
a
go
3-star
ahead.
Michelin restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, like you asked me as the top laner right here. Um, Wukong. I'm really interested in what the Wukong's build path will be in this game because like I have seen some Eclipse first Wukongs, but I've also seen some Profane Hydra Wukong first, and I think like both of these items are really fine against the Gnar. Key part for the Gnar in this matchup is to be getting the Ninja Tabis, the plated steel caps, as early as he can. These are like essential for him surviving this lane. Wukong does so much damage in the early game, and as the Gnar, you basically like you have to be incredibly careful to not die, even like in the 1v1. But wow, this is really interesting. The Cho'Gath mid lane as the last pick on the blue side, just blind pick basically.
Oh yeah, this is a great showing from both teams, and it's gonna be really interesting as well because I think one of the things that Ezreal tends to struggle with in towards that mid lane, just because generally your support can help you out to sort of push the wave and get prio when you're down towards the bot lane. But in the mid lane, you're on your own, right? And Ezreal does not have the biggest push power in the world, especially compared to someone like a Cho'Gath, who, like you said, is likely to go AP, just giving him even more damage on those minions. So mid prio, I feel like, is definitely gonna favor the side of dangerous game. When you have someone like Italia in the jungle as well, who really likes to play with that prio and likes to be safe in her own jungle just because of how squishy she is in the early game, and you can catch her out pretty easily, it's gonna be an interesting dynamic, I feel like, on the side of dangerous game when it comes to that sort of mid-jungle duo on the Cho'Gath and Talia.
So I am a certified Ezreal hater, by the way. I think this champion is like the way most of the people are playing Ezreal, they make him seem like completely useless. So I think this like this champion does have so much potential, right? But I feel like basically nobody is really like playing him up to the potential he has. So like 90% of the Ezreals I see just lack the wave clear. They don't put any pressure on the map, basically are useless into the later stages of the game, never have prio. So I'm looking forward to be proven wrong in this game. But still, I'm a bit cautious with my judgment for this Ezreal pick, because like I don't know, I feel like Snek. I mean, on the other side of Dangerous Game, they have like the Charm, the Cho'Gath, even the Wukong, who, I mean, the Wukong at the moment you go pretty like in an offensive, like a lot of damage. You don't build him tank, right? But still, they have a really beefy team. And on the side of Snack Pack, I'm not sure if the Ezreal has enough damage for that. So I'm looking forward to this game. This is like a complete fiesta of a draft. It's incredibly interesting to see what Dangerous Game was cooking. Like I hope the cook is not dead after this game, but yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Yeah, they might potentially burn down the kitchen after game 1 and then move to something a little bit more conventional in game 2. It's gonna be 2 games regardless, whether Dangerous Game win or lose this game. So we are gonna see a game 2, and it'll be interesting as well because, like you said, I feel like this Ezreal mid is gonna sort of be the pinnacle point of Snackpack's comp in the early game, because the mid prio isn't gonna be on their side. And Volibear is one of those champions that likes to gank a lot, right? Likes to sort of go for those early crabs, because Volibear in the early game hurts a lot, especially in the state that he is in right now. He's got a couple of different options you can go for. You can go for the Sundered Sky or the third Frostfire Gauntlet, depending on if you want to be more tanky or do some more damage. But it's gonna be interesting to see which build he opts in for as well. But for the most part, I'm not expecting for a whole lot of mid jungle 2v2s, at least from the side of Dangerous Game, because I feel like it's not gonna favor them too much.
I mean, the thing is, one of the problems Cho'Gath has is basically he dies to every gank, right? He has no mobility, especially in the early game, he is not like that tanky yet. So I like him being in the mid lane. It's really hard to pull off ganks in the mid lane in this season. So maybe he's a bit of it's a safer space for him, right? Also, for those of you who don't know, he can eat the grubs and get stacks from them without like losing his minion counter, right? It counts as an epic monster basically, or like a champion kill. So I think that's interesting because like obviously Volibear is a really strong jungler, especially in the early levels. If the Volibear decides to just take the grubs, most of the time the enemy team cannot contest. But gonna be looking out for the feast of the Cho'Gath if he's just like chomping some grubs away and stealing them from the snack bag.
Yeah, definitely, and it's gonna be interesting to see whether there is prio on those grubs from the side of Dangerous Game, because this Volibear is gonna do a lot of damage, and the Gnar towards the top side as well, if he does get Mega for some of these fights, can be really, really useful. But like you said, this top lane for the most part should go the way of Shy City Wukong, very strong in the early game. And just overall, it's gonna be really interesting to see, because if this does go towards those later stages of the game, right, if we get past sort of 25 into 30 minutes, and you can already see Shy City playing aggressive, jumping on the sidebot top, and should get a good trade here.
So yeah, Wukong level 1 is incredibly strong, especially against AD champions. Like starting E, getting this attack speed, stacking the passive, gets really, really strong. As
There,
the bot lane is not playing for the peace, they want to kill each other. But one thing Snackback is doing, which is really interesting, they're playing triple TP. AD carry Cupcake is playing Hail of Blades Kai'Sa with TP.
He is playing Hell of Blades Castle with TP, and this something I'm not personally a fan of Evo, though with like gang towards the bot lane, this could change things.
I mean, just flashing on top of the Senna. Senna still has flash. I don't know if she does pull it off, but she will still die to the red buff, I think. So kill goes over to the Volibear. Really good gank from the Volibear. He started top side, skipped his bot side camps, just killed the Senna.
Yeah, Evo gonna be able to pick up first kill of the game. Is going to expend his flash for it, and so will Cupcake and Olcon, so no 3 flashes expended for that first blood, and Cupcake with the TP install as well. It's gonna be interesting to see whether this is gonna be more so the AP Kai'Sa or the AD Kai'Sa, because I think we've seen both, and I feel like the AP Kai'Sa would be better here for them, especially having an Ezreal mid and a full AD top side as well. So if this Kai'Sa does get ahead, if she can pick up some of these early kills instead of them going to Evo, I don't think you mind the first blood anyway. But Evo already going back towards the bot lane, so you can definitely see where the priorities lie in the set of stack tech.
I mean, he still does not have his blue. They're just going in. Senna does not have flash. She's just dead again, isn't she? Just stuns her up. The W of the Kai'Sa hits, and she's already dead again. I mean, it just looks so easy, right? They went home. They went base. The wave got pushed in again, and like it's a flashless Senna. She just dies again to the Volibear.
Flashless Senna and pre-6 lurks as well, so no eat on the Tahm Kench. Evo still yet to clear his blue buff or his wolves, is now gonna head back to base, and both of those kills actually going into the pocket of Evo. The Tunneler is gonna be picked up here, and potentially the first dragon of the game, because you can already see how much bot lane pressure there's been from the side of Evo, and with them having Kai'Sa Nautilus down towards the bot lane as well, they should be able to easily get this first Drake off the game. And is there gonna be a trade of grubs from Jirachi? Because so far it looks like he's gonna be heading towards the bottom of the map as well. So this potentially could, the 3v3 I feel like is gonna go to a Snek pack.
I mean, the Volibear is like incredibly strong right now. Also, already finished the Thunder, and wait, he does get spotted. Well played by Jirachi. So nothing more action happening on the bot side, as maybe the Volibear could sneak the Drake. He's one of these champions who has like a really easy time going for these early Drakes. As the vision does get set up, but I think he's just clearing his camps so far. So both objectives are up, both the grubs as the Drake. What do you think? Do they prefer going for the Drake or the grubs?
I think
mean-
it's gonna be Drake Prio on the side of Snek Pup. You can already see they're gonna start up, and they have such a strong bot lane, right? Kai'Sa Nautilus very strong in the early game, and Shy City definitely stronger than Cybertop in the early game on the Wukong as well. So they are gonna prioritize the Drake, and Jirachi is gonna start those grubs up.
Now, I think it's interesting because like I want to see the Cho'Gath moving to the top side and chomping one of them. He does get a free stack from them, but so far doesn't seem like it.
No movement from Oppression quite yet towards those grubs, and it looks like he's not gonna be making the move for it, so no free stacks for him. Evo still hanging around the bot side of the map. Keep in mind he's only level 4, so cannot disable towers quite yet, but so much pressure exerted onto Lurks and Swallow. So far, Swallow with 2 deaths already, and Evo is gonna be able to snag away a free red buff here.
So like this is a Snek pick classic, right? They most of the times they do heavily play towards their bot side. Leave Cybotop on his own island, just doing his thing, and pathing towards the bot side. As like, I mean, the Volibear is just going base. I was about to say I don't think that's like really a dive angle for them, as the Senna Tam are basically full HP. But still.
Yeah, I doubt Evo probably not gonna be looking for any dives until he gets level 6, and like you said it yourself, Jordy, it must be a little bit of a risky one to pull off since no level 6s come through for anyone. Lurks now is gonna be the first one to get his eat up, so now the dive becomes even harder just because he can just gobble up Swallow and make sure the Senna is safe. So far, sort of on the other lanes, we haven't seen any action. Jirachi trying to influence the top lane.
The Nars getting ganked, Wukong Cyclone hits, and I think he's just like, he shouldn't even flash, he's just dead. That was really well played by a Dangerous Game. Jirachi was just like basically doing the classic recalling next to the lane and a brush to like give the lane the safety. And then Cybertop did overstep, and you see the power of the Wukong just being able to jump on top of the Gnar. As we see the mid lane gank, the Jirachi has not have enough. Sushi Killer does get hit by the knock up of the Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath has to flash away, does not have mana anymore. So flash is traded in the mid lane, but no kills yet.
Yeah, Jirachi just being a little bit, I feel like, are a little bit too early there with the seismic shove, because I feel like you could have waited for that rupture to come through for oppression. It ends up hitting. So if you give a couple more seconds, you can guarantee the hit of the seismic shove, and I feel like Sushi Killer should die off of that as well. But it's gonna be like you said, flashy straight Sushi Killer, no TP up, which means he isn't gonna be able to TP back into that mid lane. Cupcake just using TP, his own TP as well, to make sure he gets a swift return to that bot lane. But finally seeing some action on the other lanes as well, not just bot lane thus far, leading to no kills. Granted, but there is a kill on Shy City, and this Wukong already having a little bit of a CS lead towards top lane.
Yeah, and I think like Wukong is really strong if you find good angles for a Wukong. I mean, he does struggle against some top lane matchups, but Gnar is not one of them. As we see the mid lane gank, no flash on the Cho'Gath, just gets stunned up. It's a 4-man, the whole squad is there, the Avengers assembled, and the poor Kukarach goes down.
It's the squad out of Snack Pack. Everyone wants to show up into the mid lane except the topside people as Cybertop and Shy City. They're completely fine, just been chilling in lane, taking that little bit of a 1v1, but Pressure, like you said, no flash, no way out, ends up falling. Dragon's still 1 minute out, so this shouldn't be too big, at least for the side of Dangerous Game, but it does mean Lurks and Swallow gonna be forced to move into the mid lane. We could see a little bit of a lane swap here, as well as Suppression gonna be heading towards the bot lane out of base.
Yeah, I mean, it's the classic send the bot lane to the mid lane and make stuff happen on the map. So we see like they basically just mirrored what Snackback is doing. And now, as the Wukong, I was about to say Wukong, the Volibear is hovering around the mid side. I'm not sure if they were just like want to make stuff happen. The Grubs have spawned, as does the Drake in a couple of seconds.
Oh,
Just like the flash in front. Okay, interesting. Trading flashes. This is like, I mean, the Senna flash I think is much more important than the Nautilus flash in this case. I mean, she does have the Tahm Kench Devour, so it's not a complete disaster, but still. As the Grubs are getting taken by the top side of Dangerous Game again. I think we'll just see the trade again, don't you think?
it should be. Evo, though, heading towards the
Wait.
top side. They're trying to deny these 6 Grubs. They don't
I
want
mean,
them to get it. Just trying to walk in.
it's already 5. I think they have no chance. It's 6 Grubs and like, I don't know. I feel like Snek should have had like the intel that they will go for the Grubs. I mean, maybe they just trade the Drake now, but still.
Yeah, I would have
Time
much
waste.
more sort of preferred for them to try to get that dragon, and they looked a little bit hesitant. Seemed like they wanted to go for the Grubs there, but sort of didn't also want to walk in just because of the reverse wall on Jirachi. Lurk's now looking. The Tongue Lash not gonna come out quite yet, but you can see both of these teams sort of just eyeing each other out, stepping up and seeing if there are any angles to find. Ocean Drake gonna be our second dragon of the game, which means Ocean Drake or Ocean Soul and Chemtech Soul both going to be out of the game.
Yeah, and we see a lot of damage taken for the Volibear as the Priorcon is hooking the wall. Senna ultimate hits both people. Well, I think it hit like it hit the Nautilus at least, and I mean, now they lose both. Cho'Gath will just like eat the Drake, as we see the early smite because this Cho'Gath can secure the objective anyways. And now it kind of looks like I feel like Dangerous Game are in a really good spot at the moment. I mean, both carries for Snackpack. I mean, the Ezreal just finished his first item. They were not like that strong in this fight.
This is, I mean, a really good look out of Dangerous Game. Like you said, Jordy, they've gotten most of the objectives in the early game, securing all 6 Grubs for themselves. Sort of getting a Drake for free, I want to say. Just a little bit of hesitation on the side of Snack Pack. And the game itself, I feel like, has calmed down a little bit. You can see the gold lead is on neither side, identical pretty much on both sides. And first items are starting to come through as well. Sushi Killer and Cupcake both finishing up theirs as oppression, managed to finish up the Sword of Ages as well. So slowly but surely, this Cho'Gath getting tankier and getting that stack on Dragon as well from that feast is gonna help a lot to add that little bit of extra HP.
Yeah, and like the biggest difference is like the Wukong already has Eclipse finished. The Gnar is building towards the Triforce. Does have the plated steel caps, but no Triforce yet. So like the damage is kind of limited from this little Gnar. As also like the Senna does not have her first item yet, as she's like on a mission on fasting Senna. But she will be strong soon. She's already strong. Support items are broken. I mean, they did get nerfed, but like, was the patch out already? I'm not quite sure. As we see the top side gank, Cyclone hitting into like a bunch of damage from the Talia. At the same time, mid lane, the Volibear is just running. True Shot Barrage hitting basically nothing. As Dangerous Game can just walk out of this gank.
It's just a bunch of abilities getting thrown out. The only really kill going through is that top side where the Reverse Wall and the Cyclone both end up getting used. So actually they might actually be able to secure this top lane tier 1 after that play as well. Cybertop does have a TP up, but with those 6 grubs, these towers just fall so quick in this early game. Shy City gonna be able to secure first tower of the game tier 1 top lane, which means this Rift Herald is very likely to go into the pocket of dangerous game as well. I think for now, just trying to wait until the Talia and Wukong both get their ultimates up and trying to get those cooldowns back until they go for such a big play. But I think so far, like you said, Jordy, dangerous game looked very good in this early game, in my opinion.
I mean, to be fair, Snek is just playing to scale, right? They bought tiers on both carries. They're just like trying to stack them and hitting their spikes on 2-3 items. Right at the moment, I feel like Dangerous Game just looks much stronger than Snek just like champion-wise, as they do actually start the Rift Herald. No Cyclone for the Wukong, but the Mega Gnar is running out. Gonna be a Mini Gnar now. The fight starts, the Wukong, the Wolver gets really low, Cupcake basically just gets one shot, Death Charge doing absolutely nothing, Nautilus also going down, and like that's what I meant. They have not hit their spike yet. There was nothing to be fought over basically. I mean, they basically one-shot 3 people. The Volibear had to ult backwards, and no damage traded back. Wukong didn't even have to Cyclone.
The timing is just, I feel like, really bad for Snack Pack there, because Cybertop ends up hitting Mini as soon as the fight starts. You can just see when he walks down towards the river, he's already hit Mini now at this point, so he's got no tools to offer into this fight. Evo forced to ult backwards just to live, and the rest of the gang just ends up not being able to make it on out. Both Cupcake and Ocon end up falling. Cupcake not even be able to use the Killer's Instinct there to try and live a little bit longer. It's gonna be a Herald secured for a dangerous game. Looks like Jirachi was the one who picked that one on up. Gold lead now, a little bit higher than it was before that as well. So dangerous game trying to stack up more of that, as Dragon gonna be spawning in a little bit over 30 seconds as well. And Jirachi so far picking up most of these kills and most of this gold. Leandri is finished up now as well. The side of dangerous game is gonna be really strong heading into this Dragon spawn.
Yeah, I think there's one person who's like even sadder about this, like much sadder about this game than Snackback, and this is I Play You Listen, because like his substitute is 2-0 and 3, 100% kill participation, absolutely smurfing this game so far. I already saw banter on the Twitch chat about I Play You Listen being replaced forever. But yeah, if I'm I Play You Listen, I'm worrying about my jungle spot after this early game from Jirachi.
It's a great showing out of her, and you can see as well just and I Play You Listen, just you can just see, even though he's a strong jungler in his own right, when he's not around, the side of dangerous game still able to put in the work, and the rest of the squad just showing up here. You can see Shy City as well working his way towards his second item. Talon now completed, and interestingly enough, it is the Merc Treads out of him just due to the CC on the other side. Dragon are gonna be secured here as well, as they're just gonna walk straight into the bot side of Snack Pack and say, this is now my jungle.
I mean, just look at this catfish in the mid lane. Lurks is so incredibly tanky. Went for the Knight's Vow first, I think, like, is... I mean, the thing is, even with the support item, this catfish is so hard to take down at this point. I mean, Zushi Killer Diezreal has an Essence Reaver, not finished Manamune yet. Same goes for Cupcake. And I'm left wondering how are they gonna fight the next couple of objectives? Do they just like try to trade on the other side of the map? Because I feel like with the tools Dangerous Game have, like the Cyclone, the safety the Tahm Kench provides, the Senna damage, they will have a like really easy time to play these fights.
Yeah, and so far I feel like the macro side of things has favored Dangerous Game, because like you said, the objective trading just hasn't really been there for Snack Pack. We saw it earlier on when they tried to sort of fight for those grubs, and instead of just trading for the dragon, just didn't end up happening for them. Really now mid tier 1 gonna fall for their side as well, opening the map a lot more for the side of Dangerous Game, and they were already encroaching into that bot side jungle of Snackpack, so this just gives them so much more of a window to do more of the same. And Evo now, I feel like it's on him to get things going because he's the one who's 2-0-1, he's the one with Sundered Sky as well. We were falling to the mid lane to try to just keep this tier 1 alive, as I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of them was.
I mean, they were not on the map yet, I guess. I mean, if you don't plan on wait, there's an engage.
my
Tom
God.
Kench is just diving on top of the Ezreal, has to flash. Evo does have flash and R, has to run backwards. Maybe gets gobbled up, not enough stacks yet. Has to flash away, still goes down to Jirachi. And I mean, the 100% kill participation is still going strong. 3-0 and 3 Talia with a Shirelias.
Jirachi is putting in work right now. The Shirelli second is an interesting option, but you can see the tier as well already completed into her inventory. So once the Archangels does get bought up, once it does get purchased, it's gonna be immediately evolved. Whereas on the other side, True Secular's Mana Immune evolved just now.
I mean, there's nothing to be happening here. Like, the Nautilus runs in, Senna ult, Tamkin devours the Kai'Sa. Does have flash will still go down. Even if he flashed, he would have just been run down. Evo gets caught in the jungle, and meanwhile, Cyclone just like knocking both of these up. Sushi Killer, I mean, I've hated the Ezreal. He does no damage. Like, I don't know. I'm still waiting for an Ezreal to just like take over a game, because I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I'm the biggest Ezreal hater still. I don't know. Shay City was just
Killer,
able to do what he wants. I mean, he has 2 items. Granted, he's really strong, right? But still, as the Baron gets started, I mean, they're don't have that much HP. Lurk's getting kinda low, but they should be fine. And I mean, like, I don't know, this Tahm Kench, as I said, he can just run them down. He does not care at all.
Sushi Killer not managing to change your opinion about Ezreal so far at least.
I mean, like, he didn't do any big mistakes, right? But that's the point. I feel like Ezreal provides a lot of safety, but if you want stuff to happen, you'll have to play aggressive, right? And I don't know.
I feel like so far at least I'm not impressed with the Ezreal mids we've seen. I think this might be the second time we've seen Ezreal mid picked, if I'm not completely mistaken. Don't quote me on that. But so far has not been impressive enough at least to try to beat out Dangerous Game. You can see 2-0-2 top lane, 4-0-4 in the jungle. Swallow with a shutdown of his own. So overall, the side of Dangerous Game really just winning everywhere on the map. This dragon gonna spawn in about 10 seconds as well. This should be sole point for the side of Dangerous Game. And the side of Snackpack, they're never looking to contest this. They're nowhere near the dragon. They're going for Shy City instead, who's just not gonna even walk up.
I mean, that's a level 15 Wukong with 2.5 items, who's building towards a profane Hydra. Oh my god, this guy is going to do so much damage.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be strong, and I unironically think if it's a 2v1 with Eva and Shursi Killer versus Shy City, I genuinely think Shy City wins that just because of how far ahead he is right now.
I mean, like, this Wukong. The thing about Wukong is, like, he's a melee champion. Oh wait, the Nautilus getting caught, has to flash away. Basically lost most of his HP, and Ezreal arcane shifting forwards. I mean, the thing is, I said I want him to play aggressive. The problem is, I think we're way past that point. I think now arcane shifting forwards may cost you the game. The enemy has a Baron buff. I mean, to be fair, you kind of have to look for a fight against Baron, right? As the true shot barrage hits 2 people, another arcane shift forwards. Shay City just like basically one-shotting the topside turret, which is also interesting. He's kind of looks at, maybe he's caught here. The Kai'Sa's jumping in. He just basically one-shot the Volibear and is out. What is happening here?
Oh my god.
Flash feast forward from oppression, and like this game looks done. Chase City just went topside, one shot the turret, one shot the Volibear, almost one shot the Gnar, and they're just looking to end this game. The TP gets channeled, Chase City went back, is full HP again, bought his third item and a Sheen. This guy one-shots everything at this point. And this game kind of looked even from like first 8 minutes, but this game was not close in the end. 10,000 gold lead in the end. 13-3. What do you think, Lisa?
I think it kind of looked even until it didn't. And it's, I think, really confusing in my opinion, because we've seen Snack Pack and we've seen, I feel like, a lot better than what we saw in that game one. So it's now gonna be all about going back to the drawing table, because the Israel mid just didn't quite work out. They tried to cook, and unfortunately the kitchen just burnt down, and now they're gonna have to go back and rebuild into some other location, because it just, I feel like they weren't looking strong out there. They weren't looking proactive. And even when it came to sort of simple things where just trading objectives, for example, they just looked hesitant whether to go for the Drake, whether to contest for the Grubs. And I feel like this is not the best we've seen out of Snack Pack. So I feel like they really need to step it up in the second game. Whereas on the other side, Dangerous Game, I feel like it was a good game all around from them. All lanes contributing, and overall their teamwork was really good in that game one.
And I mean, to be fair, if we're gonna stay on the topic of these analogies, um, if this was an episode of Hell's Kitchen, I think, like, I don't know, Gordon Ramsay would be really happy with Dangerous Game, but I think the other kitchen, as you said, burned down to a crisp. Still, like, I'm not convinced about like this Ezreal mid lane. What I'm convinced about though is the Wukong top lane, which I feel like has a known fan base in the Twitch chat at the moment. But yeah, I feel like, I mean, the thing is, Snek had a plan. They went into this game, they had a plan, the plan worked. They got 2 kills on the bot side, and then they did nothing. And I think, I mean, to be fair, like, Nezreal mid doesn't provide you with anything. As I said, I don't like the pick, right? I feel like you don't do anything. You just basically stand there. You do not die, but you also do not win the game. So I don't know. I mean, to be the Cho'Gath, funnily enough, basically had a 0 kill participation up until the last fights. So he was like 0, 1, and 0 for the majority of this game. Yeah, I mean, at the end, he flashed forward, ate the poor Gnar, and won the game. So, congratulations on that one.
He just ruptured waves, he feasted on cannon minions and just ends up getting the job done. 2 items was all it needed. And I will be honest, I'm not entirely convinced about the sort of TP Kai'Sa either. Just because I felt like the set of Snack Pack needed to play a lot more aggressive towards the bottom side of the map, which they did. But I feel like after they had a really strong bot side, I feel like Evo tried to go do things on the other side of the map, right? And it just didn't, I feel like, really work out for them. And Cupcake just didn't pick up any of the kills either. Evo ended up picking up pretty much all the kills down towards the bot side of the map. So Cupcake not getting much of that gold to himself either means that he didn't really get a lead or get himself ahead. And it'll be interesting to see what we're gonna see out of them in this game too as well.
Yeah. Also, like, at the same time, the game, I feel like Snackpack tries to play like this 2017 League of Legends, where you basically, I mean, you do go for some action in the early stages of the game, but at some point you basically just try to sit back and scale into the late game. And with like Dragon Souls and Grubs and Heralds in the game at the moment, you kind of you have to push for some advantages, because if you do not, the enemy will take everything and you won't win the game, right? So I don't know. For the next game, I want to see a bit more action from the side of Snackpack, not only like from the jungler, because I feel like Evo is this main engine of their team. If they get advantages, it's most of the time through their jungler. So yeah, I'm hoping to see a bit more proactive gameplay.
For sure, and it's gonna have to come down to whether Evo can make it happen again. For now, we're gonna head into a little break before we get ourselves into game two, just to see, or just to get ourselves and the players ready as well. We'll see in game two whether this sort of Snek pack can sort of bring it back, whether it's gonna be a 1-1 or a dangerous game, end up making it a 2-0. Stay tuned, guys. We're gonna be right back. Welcome back, everyone, from that short little break, just to get ourselves ready, and welcome to this game two of Dangerous Game and Snack Pack. And what a game one we had, right? Dangerous Game pretty much on top of it throughout all that. So, Jordy, what do you want to see out of Snack Pack for this game to potentially bring back the series to 1-1?
I want to see some action. This is basically the conclusion every time I see. I mean, I was about to say Snek Pack lose, but like it's basically every time I see Snek Pack play, I just I want to see more action of them. I think they sometimes play a really slow League of Legends, which is, I mean, it's their style, right? And it works for them. But I feel like, I don't know. At the moment, they are struggling and they have to find solutions. And if they want to win this second game, um, I don't think they can just like basically pick TP on the AD carry, sit back and wait for a miracle. I don't know.
Yeah, we were both, or at least I was, a little bit critical of the TP on Cupcake in or during that break as we spoke about it, and I couldn't at least justify it in any way. So it'll be interesting to see what they opt in for this game too. And yeah, I think like you sort of hit the nail on the coffin there. It's just aggression. Right? Dangerous Game sort of they weren't, I feel like, aggressive with it in the early game, but it seemed very controlled. right? Every time I feel like they made a move, it was calculated, going for the grubs in the early game, getting all 6 grubs, trying to get that Drake. As well as we are gonna head into draft here, Zeri already will be taken off the ban table. We'll see if any of the champions from game 1 end up getting banned away, but so far it looks like it's gonna be the exact same as that game 1 with this bans.
I mean, yeah, it does look like it. I also like, I don't know, maybe Snek Pack wants to first pick Karma. I mean, they are blue side. Karma is this, like, the blue one Karma is a special at this point. It's I don't know, many teams first pick a Karma because it's just a flex pick, very, very versatile. I mean, she did get nerfed for like mid lane in the last patch, but still, I think really decent, really strong champion. So yeah, as the Talia gets taken away.
That's an interesting ban, I feel like, because the Talia to me felt sort of not that big of an issue. I feel like for the side of Snack Pack, it was more so in my opinion the bot side to me where I feel like Swallow and Lurks both played that game 1 pretty well. So like you said, Jordy, and predicted it bang on, it is gonna be that B1 Karma, something we are used to seeing now. And no really surprises there, but what sort of responses do you feel like we're gonna see out of Dangerous Game here in response to that Karma?
I mean, interestingly, they banned the Senna themselves. So yeah, there were no Senna time canched for Dangerous Game this game. So yeah, like, I don't know actually. There is no Melio, there's no Karma for the support Ivern, as you already pointed out. Which, wait, is it I Play You Listen again? Or why do they pick
I'm
Ivern in this game?
assuming not. Maybe. It could be, but I'm assuming
I
it's
mean,
not.
like, if I Play You Listen is not, I mean, if he is playing, I think the Talia ban does not really make sense. So I don't know, some confusion still going on. But yeah, on oh, it's the Jinx, the hyper carry comp with Jinx and the Ivern. It's also like it does gain a lot of popularity at the moment. Crit item buffs were like a really good change for the Jinx. Um, I still think it's a bit risky to blind Jinx, but they already make sure that Jinx has like the Ivern protection behind her. So
Yeah, I think
I think it's a solid pick.
Jinx is something we've sort of seen rising up in the meta more, and it has been
Oh no.
confirmed in chat by Taria. It is indeed not gonna be a change of jungler, so it's gonna be Jirachi who's gonna be piloting the Ivern and Smolder and Bel'Veth on the other side. But this Jinx pick is something we've seen more ever since the crit, or ever since Infinity Edge got buffed a little bit, and tends to be, like you said, paired up with the Ivern just to give you that extra shielding and peeling potential. But this is so far an entirely different draft out of Snack Pack, and I like this because if what you did in game 1 didn't work, throw the book out, throw out all your tactics and strategies, and just rebuild into this game 2.
So yeah, I'm happy and I'm sad at the same time. I'm happy because like they do play the Karma Bel'Veth, which I think is a really strong combination of champions. But at the same time, I'm really sad because we still cannot get rid of this little dinosaur on the AD carry position. Why do we see Smolder again, man? Like, I don't know. I think this champion is such a, like, in speaking in Twitch emotes, he's such a resident sleeper, right? You basically you sit in lane, you farm, you get strong at some point. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, it kind of is fine for a dangerous game because like they already have insane scaling, especially now that they have Cassandra as well. I think Cassandra is like an incredibly strong mid to late game champion for the top side. I'm assuming it's gonna be a Shay City Cassandra,
Yeah,
which is interesting. Yeah, because it's kind of an Ornn OTP. They didn't ban it and you just picked Cassandra.
should be the Cassante on Shore City, and like you said, a little bit of an interesting pick I feel like coming out. Cassante is something I feel like we used to see a lot more, but then he got nerfed and now we sort of don't see him as much. It's gonna be the Hui Lulu taken away for this or from the side of dangerous game, as they are gonna be the ones who ban the Ziggs Gnar. So Rel gonna be hovered here at least for now. Looks like they aren't gonna pair up an Enchanter with the Jinx just due to that Ivern already being such a good peel tool for her that they feel like they don't need another one. So it's gonna be Rel instead, a little bit more engaged down towards that bot side, and with the Lulu being banned away, is gonna opt in for that tanky frontline instead, as Braum gets over there on side of Snack Pack, and it's gonna be, looks like Braum Smolder, so a very defensive bot lane coming out from them.
It is indeed. I mean, the Braum Smolder is kind of a classic because as a Smolder, many teams try to punish Smolder by just basically completely sending it onto the Smolder, just drafting full engage, and because of that, like this Braum Smolder is a combination of bot lane picks we have seen quite often. Braum also is a decent pick against the Rel. This Rel champion I'm particularly excited about because as a Rel, you take Hex Flash. And we have the Hex Flash connoisseur and Lyrics on the support position. We've all seen the clip, right? Yeah, I'm still hoping for a second time. The Hex Flash Lyrics arc to continue.
Part 2.
But yeah, as the
The return
Malphite.
of the Hex Flash. This is the
Malphite.
Malphite. That's something you want to see in game 1. Right, so they're gonna bring it down to game 2 here. And it'll be interesting to see what they opt in on the red side, as their last pick mid laner still yet to be picked up, as it's gonna be the Veigar here. That might be a first Veigar for the split, I feel like, and I'm not entirely sure whether it was a panic pick or not, because they were running out of time there a little bit.
We played it once actually,
Oh,
but it was
okay.
like in the first week, our second series against Sorby Glacial.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like Dangerous Game got everything they wanted. Right? They have this whole hyper carry composition with Veigar and the Jinx, who basically just pump out the damage against Snackpack, who don't really have like that much range. I mean, they have the Smolder. Apart from that, I don't know. I do not like the Malphite at all in this game. Because he's gonna ult in, and there will be no follow up. I feel like. Because I don't
Yeah,
know, Belworth tries to get in one Veigar cage and she does not play the game. I mean, the Smolder can use his R, I guess, but at the same time, I mean, you won't kill anybody if there are Iron Shields, Redemption, and Exant and Arel just like standing between you and the enemy carries. Um,
yeah, I think overall this Veigar pick is really interesting because it's a champion we don't really see. We tend to see more like other mages in the mid lane, like the Orianna, for example, that was banned away. Things like the Victor, for example, which we saw as well. And Veigar, a champion we don't really tend to see. So it'll be up against the Karma on the other side this time around. Should have Prio in that mid lane outside of Snack Pack for the majority of the early game until he can get some AP into that W and then really start clearing those waves in. But I think it's gonna be a really interesting game because you're looking at two comps who are completely different, right? Like you said, the side of Snack Pack, they want to sit there, they just want to scale up, right? Go to those late game statuses where Smolder ends up getting his stacks in, Belveth gets his items, Karma gets that Malignance, gets the AP in as well. Whereas on the other side, a lot of scaling there too. Jinx, Veigar both scale very, very well. So I feel like this game is gonna be a lot longer than our first game, and I feel like both teams are sort of willing to go into that late game.
yeah, and I think the point is, I don't even think Snackpack, even with the Smolder pick, outscale. Like, I feel like at some point, I mean, the thing is, what I really kind of, I'm looking forward is you're playing Belveth into an Ivern. I want to see some jungle action. I want to see some counter jungling, some aggressive plays in the enemy jungle from the side of Snakepick. And that's the main part because why I'm worried because like they did not do a lot of this stuff in the first game. They went bot 2 times, which worked. Like I said, I think they had a plan. The plan worked. Was a very good position for them. But they have to Like they cannot afford to put their foot off the gas.
Yeah,
Of
I
gas pedal, right? Because like they have to basically they have to get their advantage, and then they can play. Otherwise, they'll have problems in team fights later on.
Yeah, and Karma Belvest is in my opinion at least, in the early game, a lot stronger than the Ivor and Veigar is gonna be. So I think this is the perfect window where you can go for those invades, you can play a lot more aggressive, especially when Ivern can't really contest you on your camps, because if Ivern does end up taking damage while he's marking a camp, I believe it does stop the marking from happening. So if you can just sort of attack him while he's trying to mark something, he can steal the camp away. Whereas on the side of the Belveth, you can always just have that smite ready and available. So it's gonna be interesting to see whether it's gonna be a sort of shift in gameplay style out of Snack Pack, because like you said, it didn't really happen in that game 1, and overall I feel like the side of Snack Pack don't really tend to play like that. So it's gonna be interesting to see if sort of the champions they have and the better mid 2v2 they have is gonna make them approach the game in a different way, or whether it is gonna be just more of the same Snack Pack where they're gonna sit there, they're gonna try to scale up into that late game and not gonna be playing proactively in this early game.
Yeah, and like you said, Karma should have prio in the early game. She should have pressure, and like maybe they can find some angles with like Karma, Belveth to find stuff, to invade the enemy jungle, to steal camps, to get this Belveth ahead. Because I feel like if Snack Pack wants to win this game, they really have to play a clean early game. They have the tools, but now it just comes down to if they're able to use them.
Yeah, definitely so, and the tools are there, like you said, and so far it does seem like most of chat is agreeing with Dangerous Game winning this game as well. There is a gamble going out at the moment, so if you have any points left over, or you're very confident in one of these teams winning, make sure to put your points into that as well. But so far it is 95% towards Dangerous Game, so a lot of people have points riding on Dangerous Game winning this one, and based on what we saw in game 1, I feel like they are the better team to take this. Because like you said, in my opinion, we didn't really see much out of Snack Pack. Whereas Dangerous Game, I feel like really put on a performance, especially I want to point out Tri-City, I feel like had a pretty good game for himself on the Wukong. And this time he's going to be piloting the K'Sante instead, so a very different champion, and for me it'll be interesting to see if he can pull it off, if he can pull off two different styles of champions, or whether one of them is gonna fall flat.
I mean, to be honest, like I feel like we were really critical of Snack Pack in the first game, but at the same time, we have to point out, I feel like Dangerous Game really did play an amazing game, especially in the mid game. Yeah, and like the Talia was basically everywhere. Up to like basically, I don't think she had like kill participation in the last fight. On every kill, but up to that point she had a 100% kill participation, was everywhere, was getting top ahead. The Wukong snowball started because of a top gank, and yeah, they really played the map. They got the objectives. They always felt like as they were like just fast on every play, and it made it really hard for Snackback to even enter this game.
Yeah, and what I want to see from Snack Pack, I want to see him to commit to decision, right? And I feel like that's something they didn't do enough in game 1.
Yes.
I want to see them make a decision and be like, we're gonna commit to it, we're gonna see it through, because especially on those grubs early on into the game, it just looked like they were in two minds, right? Half the team saying go for Drake, half the team saying let's contest these grubs, and they just end up walking back and forth and end up getting neither. And I can also confirm Jirachi ended up missing out on 1 kill for 100% kill participation, so unfortunately had 12 out of 13, but that is still pretty damn good for a jungler, I want to say.
Yeah, especially if it's like if you're just subbed in.
Yeah.
Having to basically fill in the shoes of the main jungler. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be just like cocky about it and say, yeah, the reason why Jirachi is playing today is because I Play You Listen ran it down against us in the last series. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I just saw basically his team. For those of you who saw the Into the Swamp podcast last week, it was basically, yeah, that Lurks was on there and he was basically non-stop flaming his jungler for this game. So yeah, I don't. I'm just gonna bandwagon onto this poor guy. But yeah, still, I'm looking forward to this game. I think Dangerous Game has really solid tools to just win from the like the mid game onwards. They have a really standout front to back comp with 2 high damage carries and an Ivern as an enchanter in the jungle.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure. I think when you look at the combo of Dangerous Game, it's a lot more standard than the set of Snack Pack is, and I feel bad for I Play You Listen. This man lives for one series, and now everyone's against him, everyone's turning. But I, for one, will always stand by his side, if for nothing else than for his name, because I think he's got one of the best usernames, or in-game names, in SLE. But Cupcake is sitting on a ward, by the way, so, oh, Lurks is gonna... Yeah, that's a sad B moment.
that's actually incredibly sad because the Rel wanted to prepare the auto attack, jumping over the wall into the brush, and like Cupcake would have lost maybe even like the flash, but would have been so incredibly low at the start of this game. So missing. Wait, what is? Oh
There's
no, poor
another.
Jirachi. The Crux didn't spawn yet. Well, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. There's nothing is happening. Sad B. Um, it's like one of honestly the B emotes still are one of my favorite emojis. As a top laner, I also enjoy the tent.
I personally think the tent is in like my top 3 favorite emojis. I love the tent with the cozy little campfire and the sad sort of face. It's such a great emoji.
Level 2 advantage, Priorcon getting stunned by the Rel takes basically 90% off. Maybe he even has to flash. Goes for flash is not worth. Priorcon probably just has to go base. I mean, he has some pots ticking, but like this is not a position you want to be in.
It's not ideal way pushing towards the next pack as well. Swallow like is gonna be without a ghost. Level 2 now gonna be hit, so it should keep them relatively safe for now. Neither jungler really around at the moment, as Shai said, again with a little bit of a trade towards this top lane. Top lane for the most part is gonna be 2 tanks smacking each other, so this is gonna be nothing interesting. At least for like the 90% of the game. Maybe when Shy City gets his ultimate and gets the all out, then it might become something. But for the most part, our camera is gonna be on the spot lane. I feel like because we're already seeing from that level 1 that despite Swallow being on the Jinx and wanting to scale into the late game, he's still willing to play aggressive with lurks and still trying to find those early advantages.
I mean, the thing is, the Snackback team comp basically, it screams smolder or bust, right? If they want to win this game at any point, I mean, I already said like they have the Belveth early game into jungle gap ownage basically, but as a win condition. But like their damage is basically just smolder. I mean, the Karma does damage, but like at the later stages of the game, the tank. Wait, the wave is stacked. It's pushing towards Dangerous Game. This might just be a gank angle. I mean, Jirachi gets spotted, but Evo is on a completely different side of the map. And this is not a good position to be in for Snakepick.
Oh, definitely not. The wave you can see just frozen outside the tower for Dangerous Game, and this is a great position for them to be in. Jirachi is basically hanging around the bot side, lurks.
No flash on the Braum. Just jumping on top of the Braum. He does have his shields, will still go down. Lurks does not have flash, but should be fine. Jinx gets excited, runs down the Smolder, who also has to flash. Yeah, and like, as we said, not a position you want to be in, and the wave is still frozen. It's an absolute disaster for this poor little dragon. I mean, I hate that dragon, but still, like, this is just cruel.
He's still cute though.
Yeah, he's
I
so cute. That's the worst part, by the way. This little dragon is so cute. It's like, why do you, why, oh wait, like, cleanse
He's
doesn't
dead.
matter, he's just dead. The Jinx W hits and he's just dead. I don't even think the flash was necessary, but like, just to make sure, can go base. The lane, I mean, I think it's just gonna push through. Maybe Jirachi can like keep it frozen where the Jinx actually cancels the back.
Yeah,
Tries
Swallow I
to
think canceling the
not
back
wait.
just because he knows it'll crash anyway. So he wants to make sure he catches the CS, but we talked about Snek Pack wanting to do more in game 2, and Jordan, I gotta admit, this is not a great start for them.
I mean, like, look at bot lane. It's
It's a
basically
disaster.
already double this. Yes, I mean, the Jinx has to go base first still, but 2-0 Jinxed 5 minutes into the game. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's is not great for them, and it's gonna be at least some grubs secured for Stack Pack, so already getting more objectives in the early game than they did last time around. And it's gonna be Evo trying to take away some of these Raptors as well. Cybertop does not have any mana, so no, not gonna be able to use the Unstoppable Force if he does get into trouble here. Just trying to see if there's any plants in the river, trying to see if there's anything for him to pick up. But Sushi Killer as well, like we said, is gonna get prior towards this mid lane, so one of the reason why they end up getting those grubs. But like you said, Jordan, so far this has been a great start for Dangerous Game, and the people who bet on him bet on them with the points. So far looking good.
I mean, to be honest, Swallow, I think he kind of made a mistake by just like, they had, the wave was pushing, the wave was about to crash, so he had to stay, and like, he has 2 kills, but did not spend any of his gold and has no health anymore. So I think he's not, like, not even in a really good position as the Jirachi is going towards the bot side. Yeah, but like, as I said, the Jinx takes one spell from the Smolder, and I mean, basically that the Jinx has to go base now, and this secures them the dragon. I mean, Jirachi can take a look. Maybe
He's
is this,
looking
it's gonna be a smite steal. The Karma has first move. It's not a play for Dangerous Game.
he's looking, Lords. Might get a little bit caught out here, but the dragon, like you said, gonna go to the way of Stack Pack. So this early objective control, we said that they need to be a little bit more proactive when it comes to these objectives. Already a better start than they had in that game one. This bot lane not looking good as Jirachi gonna try for gank here.
Cupcake does not have flash, but he can just like flap his wings and zoom out of there.
Egon. He's gonna be able to make the escape, at least for the time being. Jirachi gonna burn the flash to try to hit that root collar, unfortunately missing by just a little bit, and it does mean that at least for the foreseeable future, Cupcake should be fine as Jirachi is gonna have to head towards the top side of the map, and the wave is gonna get pushed under the tower of Dangerous Game, but with this dragon and the grubs not gonna be spawning anytime soon, it's gonna be, I feel like, a little bit of a lull state in this game. I feel like neither team are really gonna want to do anything. But Swallow, with getting his base in, is finally strong, or finally got his gold in, so he's finally be able to become stronger. But Cupcake still does a lot of damage on that small if Swallow's not careful.
I mean, he also went Comet, which is interesting because like when Smolder got released, at some point people started going Comet. Especially when his W was like still doing for like 1,000,000 damage to level 1 for some reason. Now that it got nerfed, most of the time, oh wait, there's a mid lane gank going on. Zushikila does have flash, decides against using it. I think he can just play it. Jirachi is maybe doing a mistake. Has no flash, Evo is flashing forwards, just taking the kill. And I think that was, I mean, let's call it an arrogant gank. I mean, they did not have vision on Evo. I think even without the Belveth being there, Oppression had no mana.
Yeah,
Do not
Jirachi
think this
has
was gonna kill.
no business being there, I feel like, being level 5 and Shushikar being level 8. It is strange to see Jirachi go for that play, because I feel like the game 1 looked so well out of her, and this game 2 just not being able to get off as much. as she did in that game one, but you are seeing a little bit of a CS late in the jungle for Evo, even though those marks are gonna be picked up by Jirachi. Still about 30 CS towards the Belveth as we have a gank in the bot lane.
Yes, I mean, both of the bot lane are low. Cupcake does have his flash again, flashing forward, but the shield is too much. Swallow will survive, gets excited, does actually get shut down by Priorcon. The Braum just like killing. I mean, the thing is, Jinx had flash. Underestimated the damage of Braum. He gets dove. Wait, Lurks is gonna die. Lurks is gonna die. I mean, 1-for-1. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, that's just a Giga Chat moment, right? I mean, like both teams do not gain that much by trading supports there, but it's about sending a message, right?
There's no respect between either team. They just want blood. They just want kills, willing to chase Ocon to the ends of the earth to pick this up. You can see Lurks turns around. He wants to leave the play. He's not too sure whether to jump in on this. But then Jirachi is just like, yeah, let's go, go, go. So Lurks ends up costing his life just to get the kill back. It does mean, like you said, that it's just gonna be some kills picked up on both sides. Neither team getting a huge advantage out of that. But I want to say Cupcake with a great commit there. Knew he was dead, so flashes forward instead to end up getting the kill. And now that the Malignance has come through for Sushi Killer, these Mantra Qs are gonna hurt.
Yeah, and I mean, Cupcake, he's a little dragon. He's not strong yet. Flashing forward, was like a real brave play. Wait, he does not have flash. He does have cleanse, but the Magnet Storm is getting pulled. The supports are just basically 1v1ing the AD carries. I feel like at both ends, the support would have won this battle. As the Smolder gets the shutdown onto the Rel, which had 2 kills for some reason. And this is actually huge for Snek. They are actually quite ahead in gold now. And they are gonna push further. Jinx has flash, no ghost. Evo does not have the flash, otherwise what the hell? That was a lot of damage. Cupcake lives like 3 HP. I mean, he's like at 10 HP right now.
That is single digit HP, by the way. That is single digit HP. It was in the 3s, I believe, and
I mean, he was like at 10 HP when he basically already was out for 3 seconds. Like, that was so incredibly close. But it does mean a second, like a first Drake for Dangerous Game.
Yeah, but oh, Jordy, it was so close for Cupcake to die there. He's gonna finish up the Essence Reaver on his base. Evo can jump over the wall, keep in mind, just because he does have that transformation, whatever you want to call it, on Belveth, but not gonna be opting in to try to go for it, as Oceans are gonna bring life onto the earth. We have an Ocean Soul with us as Oppression just keeps taking it in from the Malignance. Karma, and this is why Malignance is so strong on this champion.
To be honest, like, I think, by the way, what I think is interesting, I think the Karma is the one champion. Wait, no, Karma was banned in the first game as well, right?
Yeah.
We had, in this 2-game series, we had 10 unique champions. Yeah, 20 unique champions. Like, okay, we do not have to watch top lane, right? There's nothing happening over here.
It is a wet noodle fight if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, we like in the one series we lost against Black Flag Sailors. In the one game I was playing Cyan and Linus was playing Ornn. Wait, there's a gank in the bot side. Priorcon does not have flash. Puts up the shield, but it does not matter. Lethal Tempo is too strong. This Jinx has her statics actually. And just gets a free kill onto the Braum.
Yeah, so the static shift Jinx is something that both me and Savanex last time when we were on cast, we saw it, we were like, what is this tech? And according to the numbers, so I might have to hold that thought, Tri-City actually getting ganked here.
Is there actually happening something? Tri-City can maybe just like flip the Malphite over this wall, but no, there's no further action on this top side. Yeah, somebody in Twitch chat wanted to know, wanted to compare the grass stacks. I don't even know if this is if we are able to do this. It was 10. What was it? 10 stack? I mean, how much? 70. this does not seem like a lot. 10 stacks and 50 stacks.
So it does
Cassandra.
seem like
Alright.
Shy City has about 5-7 more stacks than the other side, and it is just like when you have two tanks in the top lane, they're just gonna hammer over each other and nothing's really gonna happen. So for what time I thought that Shy City being up there or Evo being up there might actually change things, but it just ends up Shy City just right clicks his tower and just walks away.
I mean, to be honest, I expected more grass stacks, but I feel like they were like really peaceful in the top side, even if it didn't look like that in this one exchange. Yeah, but still, I don't know. Top side was a 5 CS difference. Absolute nothing happening. Both finished their first item and boots. Yeah, I don't know. I do not want to talk about top lane.
Yeah, this top lane is gonna be a snooze fest and a half,
Yeah.
and we can talk about the static shift instead, because like I was saying earlier, this is something that me and Sovanix were wondering about when we saw it first time, and apparently it does have the highest win rate at the moment. The build is just static shift first and seems to be the strongest first item on Jinx. So if the numbers don't lie, it is the best first item to go at the moment. I, for one, am still not convinced by it. I will not be convinced by it until I see it actually make a difference. I think Jinx has pretty good wave clear even without it, and I don't think it's really necessary in my opinion. But the numbers don't lie, so if the numbers say it's the best item on Jinx, I'll go buy it.
As we see a little bit of action on the top side, but Lurk's just gonna walk it out without even having to use the W, the crash down. Yeah, back to the statics. I feel like Zeri does it as well. Many of these hyper carry champions rush statics. Wait, there's a gank in the mid side. Oppression does not have flash. Flashes the evil W. Herald does get the Drake. The Drake. What am I talking about? Does get the turret, of course. I mean, that would be interesting to see a fight between Herald and Drake, right?
One of these days we're gonna see someone drift into the dragon pit
Yeah.
and take it with Herald.
At some point, we're just gonna have another like old Mordekaiser, or not like completely old, but the update where wait, there's a flash forward. Jirachi had to use the flash earlier, just gets popped by Evo and Sushi Killer. And I
A flash
feel
for
like-
flash, but Jirachi still ends up dying.
Yes, I mean she will be back for the Drake, but she will be late. So maybe this is a window. I mean, Snek themselves are on a reset right now. So, I mean, maybe. We'll see. But I actually do expect a first fight. The Malphite is moving towards the bot side. Evo is jumping around in his own jungle. Some vision gets cleared. I'm expecting a big fight. Or like, at least I'm hoping for a big fight. I want to see some action.
It does seem like both top laners should move down for this. Shicey does have a TP of his own, and he's gonna actually use it now. So, are the side of Dangerous Game gonna be able to walk in here?
Already TPing bot side, he's just walking into the chokehold. This is... Wait, this is really interesting. He W's forward, but there is... Like, this is a really split fight. He pops the ghost, Cybertop's just running down Lyrics. My god, this ultimate is loud. This is the first fight kill for the Sushi Killer, actually. Just like the Brom's doing so much work on the backside. Cybertop ults into the backline, kills most of the backside actually. And this is just what is happening. There's no cohesional fight from Dangerous Game. Watch this flash, by the way. But like, okay, no chance for the little Yordle. He has not scaled yet. Actually, this Malphite put in work in this game. I have no idea why Dangerous Game approached it like that, but this is like huge, especially for Cupcake.
Yeah, it was a really split fight from the side of Dangerous Game. They are gonna end up losing out on it, so Snack Pack are gonna secure their second dragon of the game here, working their way towards that soul if the game does end up going that far. But take a look back at the replay. Immediately, Swallow is in complete no man's land. He's nowhere near his team. You can just see the rest of the guys trying to work their way to bring him into the fight, but immediate unstoppable force onto Swallow once he even walks up. And Cybertop, like you said, he does amazing work here to get onto the backline. Shicey ends up picking up one kill here onto Evo, but it just ends up being Cybertop who pretty much 1v3s, 1v4s their entire backline, ends up finishing off Oppression there as well, and just a great fight as the top laner of Snek Tech. And like you said, this is huge for them because it was a lot of kills picked up by Cupcake as well in that fight.
I mean, this Malphite just walked in, started hammering onto Jirachi, onto the Ivern, just beating them up one by one. First the Ivern, then Swallow, ulted on top of the Jinx. Like, he just walked in there and said, no, it's my house, get out of here.
Yeah, that pretty much sounds about right. And it's gonna be some items coming, I mean, big spikes here coming through for both teams. You can see 2 items now onto Cupcake as well as Sushi Killer, whereas Swallow gonna get that Kraken Slayer into his inventory. And Oppression is gonna go for Shirelli we keep seeing the Shirelli second on mages, and it's not a tech I'm entirely used to. I don't play mid lane myself personally, but I'm assuming the numbers on it are just really, really good.
I mean, as strong as this Jinx is, she did absolutely nothing in this last fight. Yeah, much of this, like the Malphite just being Malphite, I guess. I mean, like, as I said, he just ran in and basically won them the fight without even like, I mean, he zoned out the Jinx without even doing anything in the first place. He was just killing this Ivern, and the Jinx still could not approach this fight as they do invade the top side. Shy City does have ult. They are not as a whole team. The Malphite is joining. Shay City pops the blast cone. This Braum gets low. As Oppression hits. Wait, this is a really split fight. Jirachi gets low. Smolder ults on top of 3 people. Evo gets low. Kind of has to pop the E. Gets shielded, but should go down to the Viger to Shay City actually. Sushi Killer does have to pop flash. No, he flashes not yet up. Just got up into the fight. Briarcon maybe also going down as Swallow gets excited and just what is happening in these fights? They're just fighting on so many different fronts.
It
Shay
does
City
seem
still has R.
really chaotic.
Cupcake running in, has to flash. The Baron gets stopped, but Cybertop will also go down. No, I think Smolder does not have the execute yet. Otherwise, this may have looked different. But this is just like a 5-0 and a Baron.
What a fight of coming out from Dangerous game there. It was so split to start off with, and they just end up finding each other, end up pulling back together like it's gonna be Baron secured here as well. And this is all over the place, right? Tri-City does a great job here with Cybertop of keeping him back, right? Of pressure with an immediate primordial burst onto Evo to get that burst on him. The cage is really big here as well, as Swallow just from the backlines ends up finding the rest of the boys, ends up getting excited as well. Just the shields from the Iron coming big there. Priokon gets finished off here as well, and at the end there, Cybertop and Cupcake just end up walking in again for I'm not entirely sure why. Most of the cooldowns were burned from both of them and just end up walking too far. They end up dying as well. And it is a clean sweep out of Dangerous game. A complete ace, a complete Baron, and a complete turnaround of the game for them after that fight before that.
And this is like the power of Cassandra, right? I feel like this champion, you can never get caught when you play Cassandra. You can just like move into spaces, and there were 3 people, and Cassandra just presses W and does not care. Now the flash forward from Lurks onto Cupcake, the ult from the Braum gets pulled, the shield is there to protect the little dragon, Cupcake gets really low,
Oh my
flash
God.
ultimate from the Malphite gets hits 2 people, Jinx is going down, this looks like a complete throw again, Shay City has R, maybe kills Cupcake here, but like what is happening in this game? They're just like, what? Why would you do this? Like honestly, okay, to be fair, this was incredible fight for the Braum. Priorcon did so much work in keeping this little Smolder alive. I mean, they tried to find the pick. It completely backfires. What's your take on this, Disa?
My take on this is the fact that it's a complete clown fest. This is a complete clown fest on both sides of the rift, and like you said, look at how much work the Braum does here. Priorcon just puts up the shield, jumps onto Cupcake. It's a good look from Lurks, but the Braum is so strong here, hits the knock up onto everyone in Cybertop with the flash forward unstoppable force immediately onto the backline redemption. Does so much work there out of Jirachi, but just not enough. And this is the power of Smolder, all those executes coming in as well, and Cupcake just at the end shoots down Shy City there, and just not having enough damage out of the side of dangerous game. Solo falls very early on right there, and now it's becoming dangerous for them because you can see 3 items onto Cupcake, 3 items onto Sushi Killer, and the scaling we talked about early on into the game, Jordy, started to come through for the self-snack pack.
I mean, like, the Smolder is so strong. Evo's moving topside. Shay City is tanky, but he's not unkillable. This Belvath is doing so much damage. The Stop of the Force getting used. The Redemption's healing the Cassandra, but he's still gonna go down. Evo is doing way too much damage. Kraken Slayer put in work. This last fight, by the way, we didn't, or like what was a little part we missed, right at the beginning of the fight, at the same time, the Belvath, Evo, and Sushi Killer caught oppression on the bot side jungle. So it was basically, like, I feel like that was even the argument for Lurks to flash forward. He saw that his mid laner was getting caught and tried to make stuff happen on the other side of the map. But yeah, the Braum was so important in that fight.
Yeah, and that's what I gotta say, right? Because from where we're standing, it looks like Cupcake and Evo doing all the work, but I gotta say, Priocon and Cybertop both have put in a hell of a performance
Yes.
this game, I feel like. And even after the bot lane, those first couple of levels didn't go the way of Snack Pack, Cupcake and Priocon still have managed to bounce back, right? They find themselves back into this game and have done so much work, especially Cybertop in these last couple of team fights. This Malphite has been so useful as well, and you can now see 3 items on Evo Terminus finished up here, 2 items on Cybertop, and it's become a really hard game for Dangerous Game to play.
There's one thing I want to point out, and it's another Shurelius incident. Oppression, the Vigar is going Shurelius, and like, I don't know if you saw, he hit a combo onto Priocon, onto the Braum, did absolutely 0 damage. And yeah, I mean, I think Shurelius is fine in many like in many cases, especially if you have like this hyper carry Jinx comp. But at the end of the day, if you do no damage as a Vigar, you really have a problem. And I mean, to be fair, this Braum is strong, he is tanky, but still, I feel like if you are Oppression and you see you've hit a stun, you've hit a WQ onto the enemy support, and you do like 4% of his health bar is damage, you have to feel bad.
Yeah, I saw the Q onto Evo there as well out of Oppression. It doesn't really do damage.
He only has
and
perks.
It depends on the champion, I feel like, right, as well, because on champion like Karma, for example, who's already supportive, I kind of get it, so I might have to hold that thought TP onto mid lane. Shy City now gonna have to use Ghost Jackshot pot there as well. Oppression trying to make his way back towards this mid lane. Both of these teams, again, just looking to brawl and looking to fight. You can see Baron gonna be on the cards in about 6 seconds, as well spawning very soon. Dragon up in about a minute. Lurks and Cybertop are gonna meet towards the top side, though.
Shurelius. Wow. Sushi Killer is also doing so much damage. He has 3 items. He has a Rabadon's Death Cap. He has a Horizon Focus. He's not here to play. He wants to fight.
Oh.
The Flash R. Both players just flashed away. But still, the carries are getting zoned. Lurk's getting low. Shay City ulted Evo away. Cybertop kinda not getting low. This Vigar ult absolutely doing nothing.
Oh my god.
Mantra Q one-shots the whole backline.
Jesus.
The help of the Smolder. And I mean, to be fair, Malphite missed the R. I'm not exactly sure, but I feel like they didn't even have to flash. It looked as if they flashed too late, but the Malphite ult didn't hit either way. Not completely sure. But either way, Jirachi and Swallow had to flash away from the Malphite. And this is gonna be just like a Baron first side of the Snakes.
Yeah, it's gonna be a free burn. I do agree with you, Jordy, from where I was standing as well. It does look like... I mean, we can take a look back at it here, but yeah, it just wasn't in range. Getting both flashes there is pretty huge. as well, and just no one ends up dying here. But I want to point out this karma mantra Q at the end. Look at that damage, and Jirachi just, my mistake, does end up falling, so it is one picked up there, and this is why the karma is so strong, because the mantra Q just does so much damage, and I would love to see how much AP Sushi Killer has as well, just to see, because Death Cap is probably providing a lot of sort of the extra damage and extra ability power as well. You can see 509 on
There's
oppression, so
Viger.
those Vagrant
Yeah.
stacks slowly starting to come
Yeah.
through. 635 on Sushi Killer.
And it's like rare that a Karma has more AP than a Viger, right?
Yep.
I mean, this should not be the case. By the way, I mean the Jinx Swallow just finished his last Whisper. Has not yet finished his not Mortal Reminder. What's the name?
Lord Dominix.
Lord Dominix. Thank you. You saw in the fight, this Malphite could not be bothered. Flashed, ulted into the whole enemy team, did not care, didn't even take half his HP. The Veigar does not is like going the pacifist route, I feel like. The Jinx not there yet.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sold on the
Loki
Shirelia's
Voidling.
Crypto Bloom Veigar. He just doesn't do damage. Like, you can just see those spells landing onto Evo as well, but there's just no damage.
I mean, look at it. Cybertop's getting caught. Look at his HP. He is not going down like this. I thought he at least had to like ult defensively right here. He didn't even lose half his HP. He has some what's it called? Ocean Soul on top. How do they kill this Malphite? I mean, like Lord Dominic's finished now for the Jinx. Still,
Well, look
what's
into the
happening? I
game.
mean, the Zushi Killer is getting caught. One shot by oppression. Because Sans is helping. Sans still has R. Maybe Cupcake can
Oh
carry this
my
a
god.
3-man R, and Evo is just killing everybody in the backside, running through them. Shade City is wondering what happened to his backline. As like Cybertop finding the angle, knocking up 3 people on the side of Dangerous Game. This is a clean finish for Snek, only losing a Zushi Killer in the process. And Beveth still trying to kill the Nexus as like what's but
Evo, man,
it was an
he's...
incredible hour by Cybotop, by the way.
Yeah, Evo just... He's not done with the game, man. He wants to play more League. Clearly he wants more action. Even when the Nexus is dead, he just keeps on pounding on it. But
Wow.
yeah, I mean, that was one hell of a game
That was a
out of
beautiful
Snek.
combo.
I mean, just overall, right? If you look at Cybertop throughout that entire game, so useful, right?
Yes,
And
for sure.
I like this is because generally we see Malphite players, like, or tank players overall,
Mhm.
right? And we just see them sort of play the wet noodle fight towards top lane, and then just sit there and try to face tank for his team. But Cybertop was like, oh hell no, I'm not gonna just sit here, I'm not gonna take this damage, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna show them what's up. And so many big ultimate. He got off 2 flashes by not even hitting the ultimate. That's how
Yes.
scary this man was.
And there was not a single defensive flash from this Malphite. Every flash meant like he was about to send it. He went in.
Yeah,
Best
it was
Evo ult ever, yeah, true.
honestly one hell of a performance. I think for me, Cybertop is gonna definitely have to be my MVP of game 2, but who do you think played the best on side of Snack Pack in that game 2?
I mean, we were doubting them, right? We were saying, yeah, they just like stood there, did nothing in the first game, rolled over and died, right? In this second game, even when disaster struck in the bot lane, Evo was playing proactive. He went for the invades. He had like a really sizable CS lead already, like 10 minutes in. And then I don't know. I have to rewatch this game because I have no idea what happened in these like 3 particular fights in the mid game where both teams basically just like clean aced each other without losing players, but on both sides for some reason. Yeah, but still, it was really well played by Snackpack. I also think like I would probably give my MVP to I don't know, either Cybertop or like I feel like also the Braum did so much in some of these situations, but still I wanted them to play proactive. I wanted them to play aggressive. And what's more aggressive than just like flash ulting into the enemy backline in every fight as a Malphite? So I would also give like my vote to Cybertop.
Yeah, that was like we said it after game one, right? We want to see the side of Snek be more proactive, right? Be more involved in that early game, and that's exactly what we saw. Evo just really started doing things in the early game, and it worked
Yes.
out so well for them.
Yes,
And
exactly.
like you said, honorable mention, right? To Pry Okan, I feel like he also on the Brom had such a performance, especially in that team fight in the mid lane, where he just kept Cupcake alive for so long. Cybertop ends up flashing forward, catches out the back line. And if Cupcake immediately dies, right? If Pryocon isn't there, that could have been an entirely different fight because he wasn't there to finish the targets, get that execute in. So I think supports don't often get the shining light, right? Often they don't get recognized. But I think this is one of those instances where you have to recognize the support on the side of Snack Pack because that Braum performance was really, really good.
Yes, yes. On a side note, I also want to give a shout out to whoever, like maybe the coach, but like to whoever decided to not pick Ezreal in the second game again. um, but yeah, no, just kidding. I still hate that pick, but yeah, I feel like honestly, just like compare the champions. Sushi Killer had so much pressure in this early game on the Karma, and like he was a part of so many of these fights, and like we haven't mentioned him yet, but this or like in this post-game analysis, but he did so much damage on these mantra Qs. He was so incredibly strong in the second game. Why Ezra in the first? Yeah, I'm still wondering. But yeah, I don't know. Some questions. So I don't know. I won't get an answer. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm
still I
afraid.
feel like yeah, Karma is still very strong.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're gonna have to wait until next week to get those answers. And then maybe we'll see if they lock in Karma again. But that is going to do us at least for now. We do have another series today, guys. So can I get an ETA potentially on that when that next series is gonna be? Okay, we have a 13-minute ETA for our next series of the day. We will have a quick stream restart though before that. So if the stream does go down for a little bit, don't worry, guys. Just come on back. It is gonna be Black Lotus Esports versus
No,
Ragnarok,
oh,
and
is
you are
it?
gonna be
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it is. Yeah, sure.
it
Yeah.
is. You are gonna be joined by Oppression and Horizon on the desk as well. And thank you to everyone who joined us for our first series of the day. Thank you to you, Jordi, as well. It was an absolute blast on the desk with you, and I
It's
always
always a pleasure.
appreciate the company.
Yeah, maybe you're gonna hear from one of the teams who just played, as you're gonna hear from Oppression, the mid laner, and actually the not so. I think like as far as I can tell, it's still, even if you didn't play, I play you listen.
Yeah.
Who will be the casting duo for this next game? So yeah, it was a blast. Always. Also, shout out to Pepper. He's like, as always, the goat of these kind of streams. It's makes work much easier as a caster. Smurfing on the production as always. So yeah, have a good evening. I'm out.